Hey everyone, we're doing fresh corn scallop, which is something new for me. It's coming from Paula Deen's Lady and Sons Savannah Country Cookbook. Now, I've never made scallops before, but what caught my eye on this when I was reading this recipe was that she has 2 layers of breadcrumbs, one on the bottom and one on the top. So you have maybe like a soggy crust, I'd imagine, from the corn, and then you'll have the breadcrumbs on top. I had to reread this recipe a couple of times just to make sure I wasn't misreading it, but we're gonna go with it. Let's give it a try. We're gonna put that oven on at 375. I want there to be about 2.5 to 3 cups of corn. I don't really know what that looks like as far as how many cobs are gonna give me enough of the kernels, since this cob doesn't even have kernels all the way down it, but we're going with 6. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, some salt, pepper, and 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. First, let's get our corn husked. Keeping things fresh here. No canned corn. Frozen corn. We're going to cut the corn off the cob, being careful not to cut too much or too deep into the kernels. So I've got everything off the cob. This is what we have. I think it's close to about 3 cups. We're going with it. We're just gonna make it work. So now we just need to put everything into our bowl. We're gonna be combining corn with our flour. Okay, corn flour, salt, a little too much there, pepper, sugar, and our 1/2 cup of milk. And stir until everything is incorporated. So we're stirring until it's incorporated, but I'm going to be honest, right now this just looks like wet corn with somewhat of like a little bit of a paste forming. It doesn't look glamorous right now, but moving on. Okay, so Paula Deen says that we can now put our crumbs into the bottom of our casserole dish. She doesn't mention in her cookbook anything about greasing the bottom of the the casserole dish, but I feel like I should, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So then we are just sprinkling half of the mixture onto the bottom. Or half of the mixture onto the cookbook. Okay, we'll just dump this in here. Awkward. All right, so that's kind of what we have. I feel like we can put a little bit more in here. We add the corn and then we're gonna bake it. So add our corn. Okay, now this is gonna go into the oven just like this. We'll cover it and we're already at 350. So let's get it into the oven. I was cleaning the oven and totally forgot to put back in my racks. So let me do that. Okay, we're putting this in here for 30 minutes and we're going to keep it covered. Once 30 minutes has elapsed, we'll uncover it, sprinkle it with the breadcrumbs, and cook for another 20 minutes. Okay, corn is done for its first bake. Now we're going to remove the cover. We're going to remove the cover and sprinkle with the rest of our breadcrumbs. Now it'll go back into the oven for another 20 minutes to get this all crispy. I'll see you back in 20. What is going on here? This is supposed to have two different types of texture. It's supposed to have a gooey bottom, a doughy bottom, and a crispy top, and all I have is powder. What happened? All right, let's give our corn a test. Still pretty hot. I see the bread and everything in there. Can you all see that? It doesn't really have a crispy top, and the bottom kind of looks more like a graham cracker crust. It's kind of doughy is the best description. I get a lot of bread. It's a lot of powder on the top. The corn is good, not much flavor, just tastes like corn. And then I get a little bit of the doughiness in the bottom. Not much in the way of flavor, but you can fix anything with some salt. And that's what this needs. We have our first casualty for Fancy Dinner Friday this week. This is corn scallops, and the pro move was putting crumbs on the bottom, but the crumbs on the top are not crispy, not golden, very much powder. But I'm still serving it tonight. We'll see. We'll see if the boys like it. Let's put it on the table.